Hey everybody, welcome back to DadBearDIY. Thanks for joining us. So first of all, what's a noodle jug? This is a noodle jug. It is made by taking a pool noodle that you can get at your local super center, or I got these at our local blue box store. What you do is you slide that onto a piece of half-inch PVC pipe. This is Schedule 40. You don't have to use Schedule 40. They do make a thin walled that I've seen other people who make these use. And then we've got two 1/2 inch PVC caps with one cap is going to have a hole drilled on the bottom. When you're going to put I'm using a bolt with a nut, but you can also use an eye bolt screw. I just prefer to use these, and I'll explain that in a minute. I bought my PVC in 2-foot sections. It was just easier that way. It would be a little less expensive if you bought a single long piece of PVC pipe and cut it to the length that you wanted. But just for ease, I went ahead and got the 2-foot sections. The 2-foot sections are then cut down to 18 inches. And our pool noodle, I bought 2 of them because I wanted 2 different colors, and they come in 4.5-foot lengths. And I cut them originally into 1-foot lengths, as you can see here. But then I thought about it and decided to kind of customize it a little bit, make these easier to identify if they're yours by using multiple colors. So I just cut each 1-foot piece into 2 6-inch pieces to make a more custom designed noodle jug. Now what these are used for is in fishing, and if you've seen a trot line or a jug line, all it normally is a flotation device with a line or cord attached to one end that will have a weight and a hook. It can be left for a period of time, and then you come back to it, and this is what you have. Hopefully have your fish on. Now I'm making these because Brother Bear asked me to make some of these for him, and he thought I'd make a good video, and I agreed. And he told me that he wanted them to be 12. He said 12 to 14 inches, but what we ended up deciding to go with is 12 inches of the pool noodle and 18-inch overall length. There are a lot of different ways you can make these, but we tried to keep it simple. It was when we talked about what he wanted that we came up with the preference for using the bolt and nut version of this instead of using the screw. So like I said, you can use the screw or you can use the bolt version. We're choosing to use the bolt version. And so we have 1/2-inch PVC pipe, we have pool noodle. The bolts that we got are 5/32 by 1 5-inch eye bolt there. If you can find them a little shorter, it might be easier. This was the shortest ones they had in stock at the time, so that's what I got. And of course our 1/2-inch PVC pipe caps. You'll have some PVC cement. And that's about it as far as materials. Tools, for cutting the pool noodle, I found it was easier just to use a regular hacksaw. You can also use the hacksaw to cut the PVC. And I did that for the first couple, but then I decided to use a jigsaw for the rest. So these have already been cut down from 2 feet to 18 inches. And we're going to go ahead and put these together. After I did the first noodle jug and then did the second noodle jug with the 2 different colors, Brother Bear, I asked him which one he preferred. He said he liked the 2 colors, so we're going to do the 2 color. Alright, so let's start this off. We're going to take our pieces that have already been cut down, we're going to take our PVC cement, we're going to scrape some of this excess off because you don't need a ton. Okay. I'm going to take this on one end. Actually, you know what? Let me do the cap first. So I'm using the close-end cap right now. Okay. I want to make sure I get the entire inside diameter of the cap. Okay. And then we're going to do the outside diameter of the PVC pipe. And I'm going to take that up about 1 inch. And I want to make sure I cover all the areas. I don't want to leave any dry areas. Now, if you want to give these a little bit more grip, you can sand the inside diameter of the cap as well as the outside diameter of the pipe. Give it a little bit more texture so that when this sets, it'll hold. But I think we're going to be just fine. And these are, like I said, this is Schedule 40 pipe, but it doesn't. You don't have to use Schedule 40 either. They have a thin wall. The thin wall might be a little bit lighter, but with what we're dealing with here, this is going to be just fine. So we're going to take that on. We're going to push that. I'm going to give it a little tap on the ground. Okay. And then we're going to add our pool noodles. So I'm going to do again the 2-color variety here, and I'm going to use the same color order. So I'm going to put the orange on first. I'm going to slide that all the way down to the end. And now, just for good measure, I'm just going to take a little bit of this PVC cement. I'm not going to scrape off as much because I'm going to be putting this around the base of this first part of the pool noodle as well as the pipe. And that's just to give the second piece of pool noodle something to stick to, not just the pipe, but also the other piece of pool noodle. Okay, I'm going to slide this on. If you get a nice straight cut, you know, it'll line up pretty well. But if it's a little uneven, try to rotate it so that you leave as little gap as possible. So, and there we go. Easy so far. Okay, so the next part that we're going to do, excuse me, is we're going to take one of our other caps. This is going to go on the other end. And this is the end that the eye bolt is going to go through so that we can tie our fishing line to. And you're going to drill the appropriate hole for whatever size bolt or screw you get. I drilled a hole that was just slightly, and I say slightly, I'm talking 1/100th of an inch smaller than this bolt. So when I go to put this in, it's actually, I can start to create some threads by spinning this. And once I get that started, I'm going to back that out a little bit. I'm not going to back it out all the way because I don't need to. And what we're going to do is I'm going to flip this over because I'm going to be pushing from the other side. And again, we're going to take a lot of the excess off this for the inside of the cap. Again, I'm going to put that in, and I'm going to put a nice coat of this. This will also help seal where the bolt comes through. So now I'm going to screw this through as quickly as I can. This stuff does set pretty quickly, so you don't want to take too much time. And you're going to run this cap all the way up to the end of the threads. Now if you want to, just to be safe, you can go back later and you can If you want, you can put a little bit of, maybe take a hot glue gun and add a little bit around there if you want to make sure that it's watertight. But to be honest with you, the pool noodles are so effective that it's probably not that important. Now we're going to take our nut and we're going to put that on there, and you're going to try to run that down with your fingers as much as you can. And once you get it down that point, you can take a socket, whichever socket fits the nut that you're going to use. This one happens to be a 9/32, and I'm just going to use that deep socket to run this down. And when we get this down to the bottom, we're not going to crank down on this. We're not trying to hulk it, okay? We're just going to get it nice and snug, right? You can see the cap spinning, right? Okay. And now that we've got that done, we're going to take a little bit of our cement here. Again, you're going to scrape off the excess. And we're going to, again, put it around the end, and I'm going to take it about 1 inch up from the end, just making sure that I don't have any dry spots that I missed. I'll make sure I cover the entire surface. Go ahead and cap off our PVC cement, and then we'll take our cap here and we'll start working that on. Okay. Now you want to try to keep this as even as possible. You don't want it to get cockeyed where it's going to be harder to push down. It's already going to be difficult enough, and you're not going to be able to tap it on the ground like I did with the other end because you got the eye bolt. So you're going to want to twist it down, kind of fighting the air pressure inside. Not that much air pressure, but a little bit. And if you're still not comfortable with how far it's gone down, you can take a hammer, okay? And I'm just going to set this end on the floor, and I'm just going to give it light taps on all sides, okay? And we don't want it to cockeyed or anything, so. And you should be able to eyeball that and see whether it's straight or not. So, and there you go. We've got a pool noodle jug. Okay, so the way these work, of course, when you tie the line with the weight and the hook on it and the bait, these will normally float flat like this. When you have a fish on, the fish is of course going to pull on it and it's going to tip up. That way when you're approaching your noodle jugs, you see it up, there's a good chance you've got a fish on. I've seen some people build these where they actually put a weight on the inside, a little piece of rebar, small 3 or 4 inch piece of rebar, and they keep it down at this end when they set the line in the water. And then when it gets pulled by the fish, the weight falls down and it will keep it standing up. But Brother Bear wasn't worried about that, so this is what we're going to go with. And that's how you make a pool noodle jug. I hope you guys got something good out of the video. I had fun making it. Hadn't done this before, so I really enjoyed making these. I've got 3 more to make for Brother Bear, and I'm going to go ahead and finish those up. But I want to take a minute to thank you guys for sticking through and watching the video. We really appreciate it. We're trying to get this channel up and running, and so far we've done a couple of videos. I'm learning stuff every time, so I really appreciate you guys coming by. Do us a favor, if you like the videos, give us a thumbs up, and we hope that you hit the subscribe button and even the notification bell, so that as we put new videos out, you guys can get notified and you can come back and check out the material we're putting out. We're really excited about this and really having a good time so far. So I want to thank you guys for coming out, and we'll talk with you soon. Take care and be safe.